Hello, it's me, and now we're going to start to journey through some more Witeden puzzles. This is an interesting one. This is a super 3x3x7. Well, what makes this unique as a variation on the cuboid theme is that you've got two circles on the top and also the bottom, both of which are, well, bandaged, that they move independently. So Witeden does a very good job of taking the cuboid concept and just making variations of them, which does add degrees of challenges that you'd never really anticipated with this. So you've got all the cuboid strategies, and also you've got this added component in here. So I'm going to walk through how I approach this. I think there's probably a lot of different ways of doing it, but this is the one that seems to consistently work for me. So start off scrambling. What I'm going to do is, like with all these Witeden products, even the process of scrambling can be something of a puzzle in and of itself. So just turn it over here, make sure that we're scrambling the components up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this process and pick it up when it's scrambled. Abracadabra. And it's done, scrambled. So looks kind of cool. Looks pretty shape-shifted and scrambled. So the first step that I like to do is, like with all cuboids, we want to return it to the cuboid form, but we also want to see if we can't get some of our circles, our inner and outer edges, joined as well. I'm going to do this a little bit differently from the other crazy series. But to get it back to the cuboid form, my overall result is going to be to have the middle solved as well. So we can start off with, say, the yellow side. And I'm going to look for yellow edges. Now I'm going to define it first as the outer edge as being the one that I'm looking for. So this belongs over here, just like this. So turn this up. And I'm just positioning so that these stripes are parallel to each other, and move this up here. This over here is going to belong where the green one is, so let's move this down. Bring this down over here. Find the green, which is here, and move it in. Just remember that the middle, I'm saying that the center is the very center piece here. So pink is in, green is in. Now, it's not all that important that we're lining this up. This is just how I've taken to do it, because I think it somehow sets things up a little bit better. This has to be coordinated with this one here, so we'll move this up like so. And then finally this will come over here. So turn, turn, turn. And this is done fairly intuitively. So we've got something of a cross here, and now we're going to put our edges, put our corners in rather. So blue and orange right about here, and up. And then pink and blue, okay, so this has to roll into here. That's a little better. Blue and orange, right about here. So far, simple stuff, no surprises. So this is in place. Green and pink is going to come between these two. And in. And finally this guy, green and orange, which is going to be rolled down to here. And in. Okay, so the overall effect so far is we've got our middle stripes here, and we've got this in as well. Now, just for the sake of solving these, I'm going to now put these guys in. This is something of a L, so F-R-U, R-I-U-I-F-I. There's our line, F-R-U, R-I-U-I-F-I. There that is. So we might as well continue our cross here. This is in, these are not, so just do it by the usual way. Okay, so that's all fine. Get our corners in by, again, the usual way as well. Okay, so forward, forward, back, back, boom, boom, bang, zoom. So this is in, forward, forward, back, back. Now, just in case I didn't mention it, I'm defining these corners as what the top stripes are. So this is green and pink, so this goes with the green and pink over here. Green and orange, so everything is where they need to be, so I just have to flip this over. Bang, bang, bang. Oh. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, pow, pow. And kersplat. All right, so basically we have our, okay, so we have our cross here. This is where it needs to be. Put this in right. Okay, so these are all where they need to be here. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm actually going to focus on putting these in. I'm going to actually focus on solving these, just being cognizant of this layer over here. So I'm going to just maybe spin this like this, double turn, and go bang, bang. All right, so these guys are in. Now I did spin this over here, so I'm going to just turn this back. I have to move the bottom, this one just below it with it so that I don't take it out. So now I have these here, so now I'm going to try to do the same thing only with this guy here. If I start to mess up the sides here or mess up the edges, it doesn't matter. Move this in like so, and we'll just move this like that. So now this is in, move these both here, move that in. So that's not too ragingly difficult, and as a matter of fact, if I'm cautious, I can still maintain sides here. Whether that was necessary or not, I don't know, but it sort of sets things up. But what I'm going to do is work on these two layers here now, which are fairly independent. I'll also do that. Green, pink. I need the blue one here. I'm going to borrow it from this top part here. So turn, borrowing it from that layer, move it out. Now I'm going to turn it back, but I'd like to have an orange one that I turn it back into. So this orange one here, turn it back, and bang. That way this is maintained, this is maintained, this is maintained. So we're doing well with that. So now we're just going to start putting the corners in from the top part here. So orange and green. Let's find an orange and green here. Orange and green. Here's one, but it's the wrong proportion. So we're not going to be using that. I don't think it's up there. Green and pink. Nope, don't even have a green and pink there. How about pink and blue? Well, gotta give me something here. There it is. So pink and blue, so this is going to come down here. Turn, 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 and turn. Now notice I'm just moving this layer here. I'm just kind of doing it independently right now. So our green and orange is up here, so maybe we can use that for this. Turn, 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 and turn. Now, I neglected to say it because I pretty much figured you knew it, but I created parity here and between these two when I moved it like that. So let's move this back. Okay, continuing on here, green and pink. Find myself a green and pink here. And there we got it. So this moves down here. Turn, 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 and turn. Okay, once I have this in here, notice I've got a parity situation over there. So this is all in here. Now we're going to do the top part here. Once again, looking for the sandwich. I see it right over here. So I'm going to move that to the side and just do the corner switching algorithm to get sandwiches everywhere. To R, U, to R, UI, to R, UI, then D over here. Bang, bang, zoom, bang, pow. And this moves back. Now notice I'm not moving the other layers along with that. I'm just doing it independently. There's actually a reason that I'm doing that. I find it easier towards the end to deal with what's going to happen as these start to get scrambled again, believe it or not. So where does that leave us up here? Where that leaves us is one area here where the middles have to be swapped, which is also going to take care of my parity. So got lucky with this one. To R, U, to R, U, to R, to U, to R, to U, to R, U, to R, UI, to R. Okay, so now we have this middle completely in. these three over here. What if I didn't get so lucky? So let's see what happens with that. So let's say we've got one more to go, and as you can see, we're about to get parity. So you do it, 2R, 1, 2, bang, 1, 2, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, and oh, we have parity here. Not just here, but these two, and not just these two, but also the tops here. Well, there's a reason why I was moving these independently, and you're going to see why that is now. Because as you recall, it's a little harder to get out of the parity in this situation than in the alternative. But because these two need to be flipped, then at the very end I just flip them. When I do that, this parity is easier to get out of, which won't affect the tops and the bottoms here. So it's easier to get out of a parity where you've got two that need to be flipped rather than just the one middle. Hold it at the side. This is going to be our U move. This is going to be our U move. And we simply do that same algorithm that we've been talking about, the U, R, F'd. So that's 2U, 2R, 2F, then 2U, split it just above that, 2U, then 2F, 2R, 2U, and very calmly and peacefully it brings that back together. So that's not a problem. So now the next step is we're going to put these guys in, and this is where we're going to start seeing our tops and bottoms get messed up again. But there's going to be a symmetry to that, and it's that very symmetry to that messing up that's going to allow us to put it back in. So we'll start off here, get our centers, get our middle edges. Here, this is in. We have to put this one in. We're going to borrow from what's up here. So, double turn to bring it in. The same way, I'm just going to ignore the top and bottom. Bring this back. Right next to that is a green, so the green is going to move down, 2R, and bring it back. So now these are in. So you can see we've kind of messed these up, but you see there's a symmetry to that. And believe it or not, that's going to be retained, and that's going to be useful to us. But in any case, we've got the bottom here, so throwing caution to the wind, we're going to continue to follow suit with this, moving these independently. So I need the orange and green. So let's go ahead and find an orange and green. And seeing as I don't see one, I'm going to have to let that one go. So move it over here, green and pink. No green and pink. Come over here, pink and blue. And seeing as there's no pink and blue, blue and orange. Aha! Finally found something. Blue and orange. Thought that maybe I accidentally had all here at the same. So this is going to move down to here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, so we have a little bit of parity. Don't worry about that. So we see what needs to be brought in. All right, so it looks like everything else that needs to be down here is actually down here. What I'm going to do now is bat this one out of here, because this needs to come over to here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. So that's something that I can work with. I'm going to move this over here. And this is now going to move here. Now, notice we seem to have broken our symmetry, but don't worry. All shall be protected. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. All right, so that's in. Now, do I, pray tell, have another one that I can use? Pink and blue. Nope. Let me see. Green and, aha! This one over here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. All right, so this comes over here. Now we want to put this one pink and blue. What do you say we find a pink and blue for a change? And this will work over here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Okay, so this bottom part is all in. Now I just have to get this part up here. Find a sandwich. If we don't find a sandwich, we have to make one. So what we're going to do is we'll just arbitrarily move this over here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. This turns, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. This turns back. So here's our sandwich as promised. Now notice as we're doing this, we're going to start to maintain our symmetry again here. To our U, to our UI, to R. This turns here, this turns here. To R, UI, to R, U, to R. And this turns back. Alright, so now we just have to do a bunch of swaps. We'll swap this middle with here, to our U, to our U, to our, to U, to R, to U, to R, U, to R, UI, to R. Alright, fixed our symmetries, or fixed our parities rather, and now this is in. We're kind of getting our symmetry back here, and now these two have to be swapped. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to end up with something of parity, but again, don't worry about it. We'll know what to do. I'm wondering if maybe I should... Nah, let's keep it simple. So flip-flop these two within this layer, to our U, to our U, to our, to U, to our, to U, to our U, to our UI, and to R. Okay, nice and symmetrical here. So we do have parity. We've got parity within this. Now again, I did that because what I could simply do is just flip these over like this, and this parity is a lot easier to fix, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix this parity because when I have this in the middle, everything is going to be sort of swept away with that. So I'm going to hold it over here, and this is going to be our first U move. So that's going to be to U, to R, to F, to U, then here, to U, and then to F, to R, to U. Okay, so now what? We've got these solved. What about these guys? Now this is the interesting thing about this puzzle. I hope that's easier to see than I can see. But this is what's interesting about this puzzle, because now we have to do a little bit of a twist here. We've got everything in except for these guys, and that's usually what it's going to end up with. Our corners are going to be fine. That seems to just fall out in the wash, but you might end up with situations like this. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to just get these back. So turn it like this, and that's going to flip these two back. You can see that all I have to do is move this here, and these are going to be back. I don't like the fact that these are here, so what am I going to do to offset that? I've got to move white corners here. What I'm going to do that is I'm going to match this white corner to this white corner. And watch what's going to happen. I just go holding it here, 2R, bring this here. Better define what I'm defining. If I'm going to say that this is in front of me over here, I'm just going to go, 2R, and then I'm going to go 2B, then 2R, and then 2B. And that's going to reset everything so that I've got all whites here and all corners here. All white corners here and all yellow corners here. So then I just go bazoom. This is fine, and bazoom, this is fine over here. So what was the use of doing that? Well, the use of doing that is now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over here. So, okay, so now what am I going to do? Well, let's get these yellows back and whites back where they're supposed to be. So I'm just going to double turn it like that. Now when I do that, I want to do exactly the same thing that I did before. Move these white ones up here. So basically what that's going to entail is going 1, 2, bring it up, 1, 2, so this is here, and bring it back. So now I've reconstituted this, and I've placed these back. Let's put these back where our cross is, and this is what I have here. This is the configuration that you're going to end up with, where you're going to have this, these parallel situations here, but it's all going to be in the middle. Basically what I have is I just have double parities on all sides. So how do I walk out of this one? Well, here's how I do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with these two over here, and I'm going to treat these like it's, I'm basically going to do a double swap of these centers. So I'm going to do a double, I'm going to do an opposite edge swap with these over here. So that's going to be 2R, and then this is going to be my U over here, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R. So these are now fine. What I'm now going to do is I've got these in along with this. I'm going to turn it upside down and do the same thing with this side, and that'll put these in with this. So 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R. That put these in and this. So I middle swapped these two, taking the parity out of here. Then I middle swapped these two, taking the parity out of here. And I didn't touch these. You see that I've got this over here, which I've got the wrong middles. It's hard to see with this, I know, but that's orange, pink, and orange. But don't worry about that yet. I'm just putting in my middles here. Same thing here. This might be hard to see, but basically I have to do an opposite middle swap. This is a sandwich here of green, blue, and green, green, blue, and green. And in doing that, this parity is going to be taken out on this side. So this is going to be fixed here. This parity is taken out. I flip it upside down, and then I middle swap here, and that parity is going to be taken out over here. So that's going to be starting with here, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R. We're good here. Parity was taken out. Turn it upside down. Opposite middle swap these guys, which will take this parity out. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R. Okay, so the end result of that is these are put in, and this is put in as well. And then all I have to do is take this middle segment and rotate it twice to bring all that back. So I've reconstituted my middle segments. This is fine up here, but if you notice, I still have to do opposite middle swaps with all of these guys. But that's okay, because there's going to be a symmetry that's involved in that. Because you're probably thinking, well, I bring this up here, and now I'm going to start ruining this, right? Well, no, because I'm going to immediately start to undo what I did. So let's opposite middle swap these guys. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R. Okay, so this is So this is fine over here. This looks to be hopelessly lost, although it's symmetric, and I've created parity over here. But that's okay. I'm just going to move this over here and do the same thing. Opposite middle swaps here. Take this parity out, and we'll actually fix this. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, and lo and behold, this is all fine, and this is all fixed. Now I just have to do it with this layer over here, and the same thing will happen. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R. We're good here, parity here, parity along here, but I've got one more to do. Move this over here, same thing, opposite middle swaps, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, well, and that's it. And then you have yourself a solved super 3x3x7. Definitely worth getting, worth experimenting with. It takes the aspects of cuboid and moves it beyond, but that's how you get out of this super situation. Next stop, a little variation on that too. Thanks for watching.